Hey guys, welcome back. As you can see behind me, the villager breeder we built last episode has been working really hard. I am hoping we'll be able to get at least some of these guys into place and give them jobs during today's episode, but first I want to get a couple of other things done. The first of which isn't actually part of my end project at all. You remember that blaze farm from a couple of episodes ago? I finally have an idea for how I want it to look, so let's go decorate that. Now that is a vast improvement. I know it's nothing groundbreaking, but I really like the vibe in here. All the lava and chisel blocks make it look really menacing, which is exactly what I wanted from this. I mean, we're in the middle of a nether fortress surrounded by blaze, so it should be pretty ominous. But now we've finally got this decorated, I think we should probably go back to the end and maybe do another tower interior. So as you can probably tell by the myriad of shulker boxes outside, I've worked on the interior for this orange tower today. It's pretty small, kind of like the magenta tower from before, but it's got some neat little rooms to it. The lobby, as you might expect, is pretty standard at this point. There's just not really enough room to do here much that's interesting. But this floor is lovely and bright. The yellow works really nicely with the orange of the tower, and the stone cutter has some lovely movement, and it all just came out really nice and bright. For this floor, I just kind of wanted this to be like a mysterious room with a lectern and floating candles. And what's in the book? That's for me to know and you to maybe find out. This next floor is pretty functional, but I really like the way it came out. For such a small space, it's actually got quite a lot going on, but it doesn't feel super cluttered or crowded, which is really nice. But this floor, I know I say this a lot when I'm doing these, but I don't know why, but I really like it. I just really do. I don't know if it's maybe the taller windows or the way that the bookcases are here, or even just the painting with the bed. I'm not sure, but I really like this room. And our final room is another special room. It's Skulk Infested. I think it came out pretty cool. It does make a lot of noise if you don't shift on the ladder, but I really like it. And putting it on the top floor meant I could also put sculk veins on the roof, which is nice because I couldn't really do that on these because of the half slabs, so it came out pretty nice. And that's the orange tower done. Like I said before, it's smaller than a lot of the other towers, but I also want to start working on the outer quarters today, so I figured I'd give myself some more time and just do one smaller tower. With that being said, let's start on one of the quarters. Specifically, I want to start with what I'm currently calling the working quarter, or just the blacksmith, but it's not just a blacksmith. It's also got like a stone yard and an archery range. I don't think I'm going to be able to build the whole quarter today, but I do want to try and at least get some of it started. And it's mostly I really want to get the stone yard done because for some of the other bits of this project, I need an awful lot of quartz. So I want to get those stonemasons in place and ready to trade as the number one priority. Oh, there I go, placing the floor. Okay, my current plan is for each quarter to have quite a different style, but hopefully if I can get the design right, it should all come together in the end and look pretty cool. For this quarter, my thought process was, okay, this is a working quarter, blacksmith, stone yard, making this kind of like the industrial section of the hub. However, I didn't want to go for like a factory style or anything full on industrial. Instead, I wanted something a little more, I can't quite think of the right word, cozy's not quite it, but something a little more down to earth, I guess? Either way, for the floor, I was thinking that dirt and soil is actually really useful in these sorts of environments. It's easy to replace as needed and acts as sort of like a built-in softer landing than like concrete or anything like that. So I decided to go with that for this quarter, and I really like the palette I ended up with. It went through quite a few different iterations when I was testing things out in creative, but this looks nice and varied, but still cohesive to me. Anyway, I'll shut up now and you can watch the rest of the time lapse. I haven't made it yet, but I'm going to guess that me moving the villagers into place will look quite dumb, and possibly my best attempt at moving villagers so far, so that's something. And there we have it, one blacksmith and one stone yard. I am so happy to finally be working on these outer quarters. It feels like I've been thinking about them for ages, and it's so nice to actually see them start coming together. So, like I mentioned before, this quarter has a blacksmith and a stone yard and an archery range. I'm not going to build the archery range today, but I have left a space over this side for it and a gap so I can do the floor and stuff. Also, as a side note, there will be more decorations and bits outside, I promise, but I'm going to get that done next episode once the archery range is in place, so I can try and avoid, like, putting stuff down and needing to move it all later on, which would just be, it would just be very frustrating. But as for what we have built today, let's take a look at the blacksmith first. It's this building here with the hammer on top, which you can mostly see, and I think it turned out really cool. And then if we take a look inside, we've got a bunch of raw materials being stored, and then some that are sort of ready to use, and blast furnaces, and like a cool lava pit, which I think is kind of like a forge. And then, of course, we have all of our villagers. We've got armourers, weaponsmiths, and toolsmiths, because I felt like they were the villagers that really fit in this space. And I think it came out really cool. I love these hanging platforms with the grindstones. And it's definitely got the blacksmith vibe. I mean, obviously, there's anvils and, like, the hammer on top. But even just this, I feel like if you said to someone, what's this? They'd probably go, I don't know, a blacksmith? And I love that about it. And then, of course, out here, we've got our stone yard. And like I said earlier, this was actually my main goal for today because I really need a lot of quartz. But I also just really like how this came out. Having all of the different stone types all piled up just makes it feel like a real proper like workspace or wholesaler. And they've got like all of their different materials all piled up and ready to use. And also, the minecarts being hidden by the surrounding stone is very useful. I wasn't sure this was going to look quite as good as it does, but they just sort of stay in place. And you can hardly tell they're in a minecart, which is really nice. The only one that doesn't really work is this dripstone one. And I kind of want to see if he'll stay in there if I pop him out of the cart. But I mean, I guess why not? I don't really have much to lose apart from all of the time I spent getting the villagers over here. Please stay in here, guy. Please. No, that didn't work. Go back in. Go back in for me, and then don't come back out. Can he escape? I don't know if he can escape. Give me that. Hello? I don't think he can get out. Hopefully. Oh, the Endermen are very angry. I must have accidentally looked at them. Sorry, guys. I think he might be staying there. Which would be really, really nice. Awesome. Well, I guess I could pop the rest of the guys out, but they all stay in just fine, and you can hardly tell, so I think that should be fine. Also, eventually, probably is one of the last things I do in this entire project, I will get a bunch of villagers to take professions to wander around, and I can like get some stonemasons attached to the stone cutters, and there's like blast furnaces over there, and also an absolute ton of smithing tables in the floor so they can attach to all of those. And then that should add an awful lot of life and just movement to the place, but I am gonna wait until this place is closer to being done because they're villagers and therefore they will inevitably get in the way when I'm trying to do stuff. But that's all quite a long way off, and I think I'm going to leave this episode here. I cannot begin to tell you how happy I am to finally be working on these quarters. I promise I'll shut up about this next episode, but it's made me so happy, and hopefully it's been enjoyable for you guys too. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!